what's up? It's Phil from Zaid Comics, the writer and co-creator of Magic Cop, a graphic novel we are launching. Well, it's launched on Indiegogo right now. You can go over there and check it out. And I am, of course, just one half of the two best-looking brothers in all of comics. And today we're doing a comic review. This is kind of a ranty review, as if you could probably tell from the title. But we are looking at one of the coolest, weirdest, strangest comics that is coming into stores right now. They're on, I think, the 14th issue. We went back a month to highlight this one, issue 13 of Ice Cream Man. I don't know why I looked at the back or the front because it's the same on the back. This is a specific issue. We'll get into that, why we're talking about this one. But to give a little backstory on Ice Cream Man, I saw it in, I don't know if it was in the previews, but I saw it online. It was being previewed for the first issue back last year, man. Maybe, yeah. It was last year, maybe early, super early last year, around 14 issues. So, and I love the synopsis and just the imagery of this ice cream guy. As you could see, this is basically a horror anthology, but you can't really call it an anthology because it's written by the same guy and it's in the same universe. So, like a serialized episodic horror story. Each issue is self-contained, and as you can see on this special issue 13, the front and back are the same cover, and this is a variant. They have really cool variants. I picked up every issue since issue 1. Some of them, of course, better than others. But like I said, self-contained stories that are horror stories dealing with this Ice Cream Man character woven throughout the stories. Sometimes he's bigger in some of the issues than he is in the others, but the way it was described early on is this character is very much like a Pennywise type character from the Stephen King It novel. In fact, as you get through the series, you find out that he is from this other world, and there's a counterpart to him where he has a sibling that is the good version of the Ice Cream Man. That is from this other planet, and the Ice Cream Man comes down. They go to different worlds, and he comes to Earth, wreaking havoc and being this key thematic element in all of these horrific stories around these humans. And it's a really interesting concept. It's a great way to wrap your horror stories around this theme and keeping it in one series. This is published by Image Comics, and I've been digging it. You don't get too engrossed into it as a series because it is self-contained stories, but they do have sometimes where they're doing like this overarching plot. Each of the stories has different titles like butterscotch and different flavors that they wrap around in this ice cream-esque theme. And I just love the iconic look of the Ice Cream Man character. And he really is like a Pennywise. He's got those sharp teeth. He can morph into different beings and seemingly thrives off the misery of these humans in these stories. Really been digging it. But the reason we get to issue 13, sorry for ranting, just wanted you to know about the Ice Cream Man. 13, there's an interesting story about this. So I go into the comic shop, and of course I always pick up Ice Cream Man. I usually don't really like their traditional covers, so I go and look on the rack for their alternate covers, and I'll usually grab one of those because they're pretty cool. So we can actually get into it here. We get to see the original cover. This was is the same on the back because this specific issue, here's the Ice Cream Man, is called Palindromes. So I go in, I'm going to cash out at the desk, and my boy Chris, who works at the comic shop that I go to, he's like, oh, this one is pretty interesting. The whole comic is a palindrome. which means you could read it front to back, back to front. You know, it's a palindrome is a word that works both ways. So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's why there's the front cover and the back cover are the same, because you could open it from the front and read it, or you can open it from the back and read it. And it tells you right here, and we'll get right into that right now. It says this comic is a palindrome. It can be read forwards or backwards. So when you're reading it backwards, you're reading it manga style. You're reading it from, actually not even manga style. You're reading it from the last panel to the top left panel, backwards. Really interesting concept, and we're getting into it. So it starts out, we see, you know, the ice cream man driving down the road, and as you can see, we're not going to go heavily into detail on this, but a lot of this deals with palindromes. We have this young guy here, seemingly has lost his lover, in which we can only assume was cancer. And that eerie feeling, you know, if you're a reader of Ice Cream Man, you see the ice cream truck, you know something about to go down. So he just thinks, oh, why don't we go down to the underworld here? Freshly removed manhole labeled underworld. And he is going right on down deeper. Now, this is all in narration, right? And usually when you have these narrations, the ice cream man is narrating for you. And so he's bringing you into the depths of this underworld, and we're meeting these weird, horrific creatures. And the imagery is really cool, right? We have this owl perched on this eyeless girl's shoulder here, and everything that these weird creatures say is a palindrome when you get down to it. Really cool, and good use of writing these forward backwards words. And as we get deeper and deeper, these things are that they're saying are palindromes here, as we meet these new creatures. It is really cool. And we keep going. We have the dumb mud, and it's just this imagery is wacky. This bird without its skin. But when we keep reading on and on, the art is really, really nice, and we go deeper into the underworld, and then it gets to this double page spread. And I dig this double page spread. The thing that, you know, I love about these Ice Cream Man comics are the imagery. The writing is very well written, and having, as a writer, to tackle such a task, to have the first comic, I don't know if this is the first comic, I just assume, because it's a big task, right? The first comic, we could say, that has this has been accomplished with, where you can read it backwards and forwards and you get a story. Except where we go from here, but where we go from here up to this point, they've given you 10 pages, right? 10 pages of story. When they set out to accomplish this feat, they're kind of lying to you, because it continues with the same exact 10 pages, same lettering, same exact everything, repeated. We already read this. And when you're marketing it as a palindrome, where you could read it front to back, I know it's a palindrome. It should be the same front ways as it is the back ways. But when you think about it, they just reprinted the same 10 pages without changing a thing. And I purchased a 20-page book that ends where it began. And I mean, hey, I got myself into it. I bought it. It says the palindrome right here. But I was disappointed. I felt ripped off after I read this, because it's a story that goes nowhere front and back again. I think it would have been awesome if it was two different stories that you can read frontwards, something happens and you read it backwards, and it has some sort of different ending. And I know that, it could be some sort of enigma that would probably make writers' minds explode. But I just felt ripped off from this issue of Ice Cream Man. I did get issue 14, and what happens in issue 14? I read it. I don't remember what happens, but the series is still cool. The thing I like about Ice Cream Man is they do take stabs at weird things like this because it's a weird book. It is weird, but I can't help but feel ripped off because they reprinted the same 10 pages twice and marked it at a $3.99 cost. The art's cool. The world that these guys on the book have built is really cool, and it is very horror-y. It's one of the best horror comics that I think have come out, in the past year. So definitely pick it up. This was just a wacky one I wanted to point out, and as you can see on the back cover here, we have the same one as the front. Here's some alternate covers, and that's some ad for some water things. So yeah, Ice Cream Man, check it out. Not the best issue of it. Wanted to rant about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you on next. Hey guys, have you heard of Magic Cop? This is the comic book that we're making at Zaid Comics. It is live right now on Indiegogo. It is that Miami Vice feel mixed with monsters and magic. 88 pages, fully colored graphic novel. And be sure to pick up that ash can that comes with it. It's going to have a bunch of concept art and a 12-page pilot issue. So check it out. We're fully funded. That means if you back it, you're definitely going to get this book. And we're heading on for the stretch goals. So help us out to get there. Thanks, everybody.